RVA Today is made possible by today's sponsor.
We're going live. Welcome back to RVA Today. I'm your host, Naomi Brackett, and today's sponsor is Pollard Environmental Consulting, and I'm joined by President and Owner John Pollard. Welcome, John.
Thank you. So nice to be here.
It's great to have you on the program. I feel like we're having kind of an energy and home heating day. We just spoke with Virginia Natural Gas, but tell me a little bit about your business and what you do.
Well, alrighty, Pollard Environmental. We've been in this Central Virginia area for about 26 years, and we focus on buried petroleum storage tanks. And kind of a lot of our work's come about from residential heating oil tanks that are buried. Okay, so this is something, you know, maybe a leftover from a previous heating system that's buried underground on people's properties. When was oil heating popular, and are there any regulations maybe that are different now than they were when those were installed? It seems like after World War II is when heating oil really became prevalent.
All right.
There's some estimates out there, but a number that comes up is about 200,000 petroleum storage tanks or heating oil tanks across the state of Virginia.
That's quite a number.
So there are some regulations, but the regulations are very reactive, not proactive. Okay? The proactive regulations were applied to all the larger tanks, the gas stations and the bulk facilities, where they have to take steps to make sure that a tank doesn't leak, whereas the residential heating oil tanks, it's reactive. There's nothing that is required to be done to prevent or detect a leak. So they're just kind of sitting there waiting for something to happen. And then if something does happen, if there's leakage detected, that's when the regulations kick in and require that you take some steps.
Okay, so this might be something that homeowners or business owners are dealing with on their property. What are some problems that they should be looking out for? What are some of the dangers of maybe having a leakage or having one of these systems on the property?
It's If you're waiting for an indication for leakage, that's probably not a good way to go, okay? Because they're underground and you're not going to see it, okay? And if you do have a problem, the tank's probably been leaking for a while, okay? So I guess that's kind of a main point, is to get that awareness out there that these tanks are underground. You can't see them, but they really were not designed to last forever, and they do. The metal corrodes and oil leaks.
And what happens when that oil leaks?
Well, we do see some impacts. We see basements getting impacted. We see some drinking water wells getting impacted.
Oh, wow, yeah.
An occasional creek or stream or something like that. But I would say the majority of them, you don't really get something that gets impacted, at least not in our lifetime, because if it leaks enough, it'll get into the groundwater, and the groundwater moves very slowly. So you can't really expect to get kind of an immediate detection. So,
I see.
But you know, they can get a lot of petroleum on the groundwater, and that might not be something that we have to deal with right now, but it can be something that future generations have to deal with.
A long-term kind of environmental concern. So this is a concern in the long term for people.
Absolutely.
It's important to get these assessed, maybe removed or filled, and I know that's what your company does. It sounds like that might be an expensive process for people. Tell me a little bit about what this might cost and if there's any type of financial assistance that people can apply for.
Well, Virginia has a wonderful program. They have a state fund. It's called the Virginia Petroleum Storage Tank Fund that is there to help homeowners deal with the potentially very high costs of dealing with a leaking tank. Okay? And it makes it very affordable. I won't get into the details of that, but usually it's less than $1,000 or so to address leakage from a tank. So we do recommend get your tank inspected, especially if it's older than about 30 or 40 years. Get that tank inspected for leakage, and just know that you do have some financial assistance if there is a problem. There's also some code, some building and fire code compliance costs that might be an option that people may want to do as well. And those costs do get into the $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 range or so.
Very good. Well, it's good to know that there is that assistance for people.
Absolutely.
And just knowing that this might be an issue that you need to address on your property is so important. If you have any questions about anything that you've heard today, or if you need to schedule that assessment with Pollard Environmental, you can do that by visiting them online at pollardenvironmental.com. Thank you so much, John.
Thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate it.
And thank you for watching RVA Today. Now over to weather.